Constantly shifting through the time-space continuum, Metron's three disciples observe the universe from the Mobius Couch.
If you make me feel in love, then I'll blossom for you. If you make me open up, I'll tell only the truth. When your mouth is running dry, your head high, hold on, baby. You ain't tried no drug like the Mobius Couch, a time-space interdimensional vehicle from which your hosts oversee the world of comic books, toy comic books, manga, television shows, and film. And 70s European graphic novels. And that's all. That's everything we've hit.
That's it.
So far.
That's it.
That's all we've done on the Mobius Couch. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today's lyrical intro is, of course, Carly Rae Jepsen's "No Drug Like Me." It's been a while since we've done a CRJ song, and I just
It's been a while.
It's been a while. But I want to remind everybody that she's the greatest pop act of the last 10 years. That's all. That's all. But joining me on the couch, before we talk about what we're talking about, let's talk about who we're talking about, what we're talking about with. And who we're talking about that with is, of course, me, Alessandro, and joining me is Patrick.
Oh, hi, how's it going? By the way, the guy who choreographed the dance moves in Carly Rae Jepsen's Beach House music video may or may have not wished me happy birthday on Instagram. So.
Oh, really?
Whoa, are you for real? Are you for real?
Interesting.
Wow, that's some CRJ royalty.
I mean, you're right up there. You're practically on stage.
Yeah, might as well be. We're like besties.
Wait, Patty, where'd your crown go?
But also joining
in a crown.
Oh yeah, so it is Patrick's birthday. For those who don't know, it's his birthday.
I have 40 years.
Patrick's now joining me in old manhood.
Old as fuck.
Al,
okay.
I mean, Al's 17 years away from that, so
I think
he's a young man.
For a man, 40 is what? Like, aren't we just entering our prime, technically?
No,
yeah.
We're an old manhood.
Thinking. Okay.
We're also middle-aged. For sure.
We are middle-aged. We are middle-aged. As we learned, most men don't make it to 80, so we are technically above middle-aged. But also joining us is Joe.
Hey! Hey, guys.
Hey, Joe. What's up?
Hey.
How old are you, man? Are you old?
I'm 44.
Jesus
Older
Christ.
than old.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Getting up there.
We need help.
It's funny because I actually age faster, so soon I'm going to be older than Joe. And Joe
is true.
That's true. He's been catching up to me for years. I've been slowing down in my recent time.
I do feel like when I was 20, Joe was 33.
That's
and
correct.
Now that I'm 39, he's 44.
I'm
so
slowing down. You guys
down,
are catching up. Yep.
But it's like a red shift, blue shift astronomical thing. Yeah. Like
it's because of all the time I spend in the Speed Force.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring it back in. However, ladies and gentlemen, today you came here, you pressed play on this podcast to listen to stuff about comics, and we're talking about Thunderbolts Worldstrike. Justice Like Lightning. What happened? I was going to do Justice Like Lightning after the thing.
You guys rehearsed it.
I didn't know you were going to say Worldstrike.
I didn't either.
I wasn't ready for Worldstrike.
Well, but that's the title of that we're doing.
Oh,
we talked about it. You said I'll say Thunderbolts, and then I press the thing, and then you'd say Justice Like Lightning.
Worked. I thought you were going to wait for a pause, but I think it still worked. Okay.
My bad.
I think it still worked.
We'll get better. We'll get better at it. It's only our 74th episode.
We'll fix it in post. So we're talking about.
We'll get better.
We're talking Thunderbolts, Worldstrike, Justice Like Lightning.
You know, so when we started talking about what Thunderbolts run we were going to do,
yeah,
and I didn't even know this one existed, so I was like, well, how about this one, or how about that? Like, do we want to go like old Thunderbolts? You know, like, because that's all that's my memory of Thunderbolts is like Baron Zemo and
yeah, sure,
the whole crew.
Yeah.
And then there was with what was it? Dark Reign? Not Dark Reign.
It was pre-Dark Reign, but it was the Norman Osborn operation.
Yeah, Norman Osborn. So
but it was
that
sort of
leading
leading up to
Speedball with the spikes. What was his name?
Swordsman and Matt Gargan, Venom, and
Phalanx.
That was after Civil War, and
so after Civil War, that Thunderbolts, so like I was like, I would do either of those. I mean, honestly, if we'd gone back to Baron Zemo, I'd been like, let's not read that. That's
a lot going on.
It's also we would have needed to read 12 issues to like get even an inkling of like the story arcs weren't fast. It was more of a long form, and I was like, I don't know, I don't know which one of you guys suggested this one, but I was like, okay, well, this is closely matching the current movie.
I think I did because the cast sort of matches.
Resemble. But I had no idea Bucky was doing that's how removed I am from Marvel during this period of time. I was just like, oh, he did the Thunderbolts run? Okay. So this is all, this is very fresh and new to me. I have no preconceptions going into this.
Sorry, Pat, you were saying something.
Well, it's just MCU synergy, right? I think they made this book. Right when.
But that's all of Marvel Comics right now. All of Marvel MCU synergy. It is.
This is like
dictates what comics are. Yeah.
This is like the epitome of it, though. Like
it kind of is. Yeah.
That
I don't disagree. Yes.
Are you going overall takes?
I mean, just chucking Shang-Chi into this team, you're like, really? Shang-Chi? Yeah. Like, all right.
He was literally chucked into it out of the...
He was. Anyway. We'll discuss that as we go on.
They were all chucked into it. Okay, time out.
Not as bad as him.
Hey, everybody. Let's
Thunderbolts.
Recalibrate. So Thunderbolts Worldstrike. A little bit of background. So this is, of course, as we mentioned, the recent 2024... run, Thunderbolts Worldstrike. This is actually only a 4-issue comic. There's a sequel called Thunderbolts Doomstrike, which is, I think, in process right now, happening now.
Like Doomsday, they got it. They got to get to Doomsday.
Oh yeah, you got to throw the word Doom into everything we make right now.
Yeah, well, Doom. Spoiler alert. Shows up here. But so this is written by Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing, who together are known as "quote unquote" Hive Mind.
Interesting.
They're a writing duo known as Hive Mind, and art is by Geraldo Borges, who's Brazilian, and he was a civil engineer turned artist. Actually, not both. Well, I guess both Hive Mind and Borges kind of started out more on the DC side of things, doing like Bat Family work, Green Arrow, stuff like that. And then later turned Marvel.
What else has Hive Mind done? Like... They
did some Bat Family stuff, like some Nightwings and some etc. Some Batman and Robin, something. Batman and Robin.
Do they call themselves Hive Mind? Who called them Hive Mind?
Wikipedia just says they're known as Hive Mind. Did they name themselves Hive Mind? I can't answer that. I don't have the answer.
I would have to assume yes. How else would they?
Right. They also did Green Arrow and stuff like that.
Weirdly enough, though, a lot of our viewers / listeners call me and Patrick Hive Mind. We didn't make it up ourselves. Somebody else.
Another tidbit about Hive Mind. Collin Kelly is a professor at the USC School of Cinematic Arts, and Jackson Lanzing is a creative director in brand marketing. They both live in LA, minutes away from each other, so they sound insufferable.
Yeah, I hate this.
They sound like everybody on Instagram you would hate to ever meet in real life.
Sounds insufferable. Yeah. Everything's making sense now. Not to bury the lead, but I did not like this.
Hey, come on now. I didn't mind it, but they sound insufferable. All right, but before we get into it, background on Thunderbolts, the property.
Yeah.
So Thunderbolts, like we recently did Birds of Prey, which started in the late 90s, right? We talked about the Bops and how they're a late 90s property.
Yeah, the Birds of Prey, not the Bops.
They're the Bops. But similarly...
It's just the Birds of Prey, but okay.
Okay. Similarly to the Bops, the Birds of Prey. The Thunderbolts are started in 1997, and they were created by friend of the podcast, Kurt Busiek. We've done Avengers Forever, which Kurt Busiek wrote. Also,
we trashed that.
Well, that wasn't very good, but... He did write Astro City, which is
I do love Kurt Busiek. Yeah.
And we haven't really done an Astro City, but that is an exceptional book.
We'll get to Astro City at some point.
But so Kurt Busiek kind of conceived them. They first appeared in 1997 in an issue of The Incredible Hulk. All right. And they originally appeared as kind of replacements to the Avengers after the Onslaught event. Because if y'all remember, in 1996, Onslaught killed the Avengers. Onslaught was Professor X's son, I believe, is who that was.
No.
It wasn't
Onslaught
Professor
is
X's
Professor
son.
X.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is Professor
X.
Sorry, okay.
It was like a weird
hybrid of it's all his evil thoughts or whatever.
It was a combination of Magneto and Professor X's mind.
Yes, exactly.
Together,
that's who I confused it with. Was it Legion? Who's this? I think I can. But anyway,
Legion caused the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Age of Apocalypse. That's right.
Right. But so after the Onslaught event, all the Avengers died. So the Thunderbolts were introduced as like heroes replacing the Avengers. But then. Then at the end of Thunderbolts issue 1, the twist was that they're actually villains controlled by Baron Zemo.
You know what? I mean, we're making a light of it slightly, but like that was kind of awesome at the time.
I mean, I'm literally describing what it was.
I know, but we're kind of tongue in cheek laughing about it.
I wasn't. I was just explaining what it was. Okay.
At any rate, I remember when Thunderbolts came out, I was like, oh, what a fun idea. Like, this is fun and new. Like, this is like a new thing. Like, when they did it with, as we were just saying, like after Civil War with Norman Osborn, like they'd done that. Like, that was a fun version of that team, and I really enjoyed it. That being said, this was, at the time with Baron Zemo, kind of cool, kind of groundbreaking.
Yeah.
A little less concise. Like, it would have taken us a lot of time to read that. Maybe we'll do it sometime. But
that was the kind of thing is they were introduced as heroes, plot twist, they're evil, but then throughout the original Busiek run, they did kind of rebel against Zemo. They did become legitimate heroes, and then Hawkeye they got rid of Zemo, and Hawkeye kind of became their
came in.
And they were a legitimate heroic team. For that point, they've gone through different iterations. Joe's already mentioned this, but a pretty famous run. Actually, I read this run and really enjoyed it. But the Ellis post-Civil War run, where Norman Osborn runs the team, which is that run. I felt like borrowed heavily from Suicide Squad, with Norman as sort of an Amanda Waller style.
Yeah,
heavy hand kind of forcing these villains, and it had like Matt Gargan as Venom.
Dak and Wolverine. You know, who else was on that team?
Bullseye was on.
Oh yeah, Bullseye was there.
The Swordsman was on it. It was that was pretty dark. But anyway, that was a famous run.
It's a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah, but the run we're covering, Worldstrike, is really just a shallow movie tie-in into the new Thunderbolts movie because the cast
kind of is. That being said, I love Bucky to death. So like, when you were like, "Oh, Bucky's leading this team," I was like, "I'm in."
Well, also Bucky in this, I gotta say, and I think this is why you love him. But I mean, a lot of Nightwing energy. I really got Nightwing energy from Bucky in this comic, and
that is Bucky. Bucky is Nightwing. He's the original Robin.
I thought he was an immortal Soviet assassin. Isn't that what he is?
I'm just saying, like, as
murdering people.
His archetype is to be that, like, I'm almost Captain America, I'm almost Batman kind of vibe. Like, he's always been that kind of like, I'm 2 steps away from Batman kind of.
Yeah, he's also murdered people for decades.
We don't talk about his past.
Well,
also, he doesn't know what he did.
It's true. He did steal his file from Fisk and burn it or whatever.
He doesn't know what he has done now.
Yeah,
he does. He read the file.
Right, but so that's the general.
And he'll reconcile with that, Patrick.
Right, but so we're talking about this run, and the general conceit is Bucky gets the team together to go after Red Skull, and we'll go into the details in a minute. But that's the run we're doing.
Are there
actually, you know what? Allusions to Robin, I would say closer to like Red Hood than Nightwing. But yeah, in this run, more of a Nightwing vibe. But like,
no, I think character-wise, he's way more Dick in this than he is
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I think that's because there isn't.
He's the team leader. He was the team leader, and they're trying to make it.
He's also smashing bitches left and right. You know what I mean?
When Bucky came back as Winter Soldier, it was
what?
When Bucky came back as, I don't know, Patrick. Nope. Moving on. When when Bucky came back as Winter Soldier, it was right around the time Jason Todd came back as Red Hood. So it was like those were happening like simultaneously in comics kind of thing. And you're like,
yes,
are both these companies doing the asteroid hits the Earth movie? Okay, we're both doing it.
Well, but they borrow. Okay, anyway,
Jason's back. Got it.
All right, we've got to focus and get to Lake Como and start talking about these issues.
Okay, let's do it.
Lake Como, what is that? What reference?
We're about to talk about it. This comic begins in Lake Como now.
Oh,
that's where it starts.
Well, we're doing Devil's Reign first, right? That kind of like is the prologue too.
I did not read. I only read Thunderbolts Worldstrike.
You didn't read the Wilson Fisk issue? You just mentioned it.
Oh, I read that. I read that at the end. Oh, in my edition.
Yes, I read it at the end too. We're going to talk about it at the end, Benny.
It's weird that it's at the end.
It is weird that it's at the end, by the way.
Yeah.
That was going to be one of my knocks against this graphic novel. Yeah. Is that they put that at the end. I'm like, why did you put that at the end?
Let's get to Devil's Reign at the end. Right. Yeah, in my collection.
We'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah, I got mine from the library, and the collection has that at the end. So
that's how mine was. Yeah.
Let's start with Worldstrike #1. Overall takes. How did we feel about Thunderbolts Worldstrike?
Overall takes.
Pat, why don't you start? Since right now it seems.
Patrick, overall take.
I didn't like it there.
Yeah.
Okay, my overall take. This was the epitome to me of the MCU synergy bullshit, because I feel like this book was made specifically to help launch the movie, but vice versa, I guess, to get people to read comics because of the movie, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were giving me the background of the writers, it seemed like they're very much ingrained into like the LA scene, which makes sense to me because I felt like I was reading a comic book that was basically an outline for a movie, because there wasn't really much structure or pacing, and the dialogue was also stuff that would have probably sound fun if, Florence Pugh was saying it on screen as opposed to reading White Widow saying it in the comic book. It just was very like punchy. It was like punchy dialogue, but that didn't land.
Yeah.
You didn't have good actors, performing. And it's also like the crossover shit. Bucky's arm is T1000 liquid metal now. Natasha has a scene.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Bucky's arm.
Sharon Carter now has a magic baseball bat, and even she had a cool mask, but then she was still acting like Sharon Carter, not like some badass like Cass Kane or something. It just hollow, just like very hollow to me. And then every issue, I felt like I was missing. I felt like you were supposed to read Thunderbolts and New Avengers or something in between. You know what I mean? It seems like every other issue, I'm like, how did they switch? Look, they're in Germany, I guess, fighting the Red Skull, and then they're in Hong Kong, and there's a giant something called the American Kaiju, which that's new. Shang-Chi shows up out of fucking nowhere with the army of mystical warriors from the Ninth Realm or whatever.
What? They're great. No.
Yeah, I mean, they were fine, I guess. But I'm just like, what is this book? And then also there was just no, there was banter, like I said, with the characters, but there was no character development. The cast could have been fun. I just didn't, their interactions were just boring. And I didn't really understand what the fuck was going on, how we're at the Hellfire Club now, and Fisk is the White King of the Hellfire Club. I have a very extensive knowledge of the Marvel Universe, and I had no idea what was going on or how anyone got to where they were. Anytime I was confused, I don't think the writers knew either. They would just say, oh, we're here because of Bucky's amazing intel. You guys have great intel. That's what we're in Hong Kong because of intel. We're at the Hellfire Club because of intel. We're in Latveria because of intel. Connect the dots for me, please. The art was okay, but I fucking hated this. I hate's a strong word. I I feel like I could have written this, and that's not like I'm not like saying I'm not a good writer. I'm not a good. I feel like I could have written this though, is what I'm saying.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Well, do you want
to tell us how you really felt about it?
I just was. I was just because here's the thing, because we originally said we're going to read the Warren Ellis run. I know Warren Ellis is problematic, so we were like, maybe not. But I started reading that again after I read it back in the early 2000s, and I was like, this shit holds up, and it's really good. Like,
okay,
character development and
Patrick, time out.
Yes.
First off, we didn't not read the Warren Ellis run because he's problematic, because we're not cowards, and we live in a post-DEI world where we would have read it.
That's true.
We didn't read it because I've already read it, and I didn't want to read it again.
Yeah, we wanted to read. We all kind of, by all I mean me and Al, wanted to read something we hadn't read before. Yeah. That being said, can't agree with you more. I'm going to follow in right on top of that.
Go for it.
That's all I got to say, really.
You kind of hit some notes that I agree with, so I'm going to go in a slightly different direction. I really liked the art. It wasn't like great or anything, but it was pretty solid modern.
No, it was good.
Artwork.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
I think he did a good job of portraying all the characters. I think a lot of the pages had some really good scope. There were some larger scenes that had like a lot of fighting going on, and not the easiest thing to draw. So I really liked a lot of the fighting scenes, and I liked a lot of the pacing in terms of the art was good. Pacing in terms of the writing wasn't there. I think like every issue was, let's put it this way. This is a 4-issue run with a tack on from the Dark Reign, but like it could have been 6 issues, and I would have been like, okay, give a little breathing room there, writing, like that kind of thing. But like, the characters themselves, if I didn't know them already, I would be confused. That being said, as Patrick was just saying, there's a lot of changes, like Sharon Carter, Natasha as Black Widow has a symbiote. Like I don't know what I have zero knowledge of Bucky having a T-1000 arm. So like that was news to me. I was like, what's happening? He's even drawn with the regular like Bucky arm on the first issue's cover. So like when I got into the issue, I was like, I'm sorry, what now? He can make it's literally on the first page. He has like, he's doing a shitty, weird Captain America shield as his arm and like blocking bullets. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was almost like, what is that exactly? I didn't understand. He's also wearing a slightly weird costume where he's got like a cape thing, and it's like under his arm and it's over his arm, and it's flapping behind him, but it's also tucked.
It's from the Black Panther. It's the MCU.
His clothing makes no sense.
But it's the MCU. That's what he has in the Black Panther stuff.
It
like he's
just
got that kind
doesn't make any fucking sense. Anyway, there's parts that I really liked. There's a lot that I was just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, this is all over the place, kind of thing. So, end statement for overall takes, I don't know, 50-50, kind of thing. Like, I wasn't like, oh, this is the worst, but I was also like, this is just derivative of the MCU, and it just seems like they jammed a bunch of characters together to do something, and they didn't really grow the characters. There's a little tiny bit of like nuance here and there, but like pretty lackluster overall. Art-wise, liked it. Story arc as a whole, kind of cool, but like not accomplished well. But now.
I pretty much agree with you. I guess I think I'm maybe a little less negative on it, but I basically agree with everything you said. I think I've used this analogy before, but this comic is basically, it's an iPhone 14. It's just a product. It has nothing to say beyond just spend 20 minutes of your day reading me. Reading a story you'll forget about and won't remember in 5 years, and it doesn't matter. But what matters is that just we get eyes on it, we spend money on it. That's all they care about. It's, again, something else we've mentioned, very transparent movie tie-in with the cast that matches the movie. It just artistically doesn't offer anything. I don't mean artistically visually, I mean artistically as a comic book. It just doesn't offer anything. So again, I know I'm repeating everything. I agree with Joe. The art I thought was pretty good. I know on a lot of recent Mobius Couch episodes, we've done stuff like Birds of Prey. I forgot who was the artist, but the Kelly Thompson Birds of Prey was. We've done a lot of this kind of David Aja style, hyper stylized, kind of European blocky art. This was kind of refreshing in that it wasn't that. It was at least
That's
a little
true.
bit
Yeah, I
different
agree.
aesthetically. And I did think the action set pieces were like blocked well and done well. But that's really the only thing that stood out as a positive was sort of the action art. The rest of the book is just, I guess I'll put it this way. In 3 years, am I going to be talking about this book? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. So that's kind of
Also, you
what
can't
it
have
is.
two blondes in white suits on one team, you know?
Yeah, that was confusing for me as well.
Hey, you stole my point. You stole my point. Yeah. No, I agree.
I was gonna say you literally said in our text thread like two blondes in white suits on one team. It's confusing, and I was just like, you know what? Honestly, like I understood who they were, but the casual reader might have gone, what the fuck? Is that not Sharon? You know, like
yeah. No,
The second issue, I definitely thought that was Sharon, and I was like, "Why is Sharon being so cunty to?" Was cunty. I probably can't say cunty. Why is she being so mean?
Because it's White Widow. Because it's White Widow.
Yeah,
it's White Widow.
Like, no.
Yeah, but it is. I think I made this joke in our text thread, but I guess 2 is too many blonde chicks in white costumes for one team because it's too much.
Well, like, is that why they gave Sharon the skull mask? To, like,
I don't know how long she had it. That's one of those things where I'm like, I know so little about like current Marvel universe that I'm has she had this skull mask for a while? Like, I don't know what's going on with Sharon. Like, who knows what the fuck she's doing? Is this a Captain America comic book, like adjacent thing that's happening? Like, I don't know. You know,
one thing I'll say positively for this run is a lot of stuff we mentioned didn't make sense to me. Why is Bucky a T-1000 arm? Why is Sharon riding for Metal Gear Solid all of a sudden? Like nothing made sense. Why does Natasha have Venom? None of it made sense. However, the comic still, if you don't have any context, it still reads okay. It's still quick.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It gets you through it. It doesn't get bogged down in detail. It's just kind of, it makes it easy to just sort of accept the status quo.
You know what,
forward
Al,
without a lot of background.
Like
and
an MCU movie
for it. Yeah.
That's exactly like an MCU. But, thank you, Patrick. But like, I was gonna say the same thing, Al. My one major positive takeaway is that, like, yes, the pacing's crazy, and yes, it's all over the place, and yes, there's a lot of characters that are jammed in there, but like, it's just kind of fun superhero. Like, let's go on a mission and do something crazy fast. Like, it's not like if you just want like a non-cerebral comic where you just go in and go like, bam, 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 bam. Like it delivers. So like it depends on what you're looking for, kind of thing.
It's a good second screen experience or whatever the term is. Like you can read this while watching TV.
Yeah. That being said,
read it.
Now let's talk about issue 1.
Let's talk about issue 1. Late Como, Bucky Barnes accosts Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who the Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who just goes by Val.
Yeah, that's easy.
Just goes by Val.
Style it down.
Another one thing I want to. Another comment
I call
about
her
the writing,
Gigante.
The Gigante. No, one comment about the writing I want to make that I thought was good is I feel like the writers were somewhat aware of how just shallow and ridiculous all of this was, because she mentions that she works for OXE Ox or whatever, or she is Ox or whatever. And at a certain point in a later issue, I think White Widow said, like, what does Ox even stand for? And she goes, oh, don't worry about it. And so I think
it changes every time. One of them mentions that it changes every time she's explained it.
So I think the writers are self-aware enough that all of this exposition doesn't matter and it's just who gives a shit, and they just kind of treat it that way.
Yeah, but
so
like when a
that.
comic is treated with like such frivolity, I guess, like it just has this. As a seasoned comic reader, you kind of go, way to not try, dickheads. Whereas like somebody coming in reading it fresh might be like, oh, this is fun. So it's like, it's kind of like a weird, weighing game of like, is this good because it's just dumb fun, or is this bad because like I've read a million comic books and this doesn't hold up to my standard of what comic books should be, kind of thing. It straddles that line. So like I have a hard time going like this is shit because I don't feel like I left this going like I hate this. I just left it going. This is lacking a certain substance that I've kind of come to appreciate in certain comics. Yeah.
I think I just kind of like had maybe too high of it, not high expectations, but when I first saw the lineup, I was I like the cover art. I guess it's the same artist. I was like, the lineup's kind of cool because it's redundant, right? You got 2 Black Widows, you have 2 Captain America types, but I thought we were gonna get little fun character development beats with Red Guardian.
Again,
we don't. It's
issues?
4 issues. We don't.
Would have given you that.
Yes.
4 issues? No time.
You needed 2 more issues of character beats thrown into this for it to. It could have been a lot better. It was pure action.
I'm glad you brought up the lineup though, because one thing I wanted to mention, I thought it was everyone in the team is the same thing. I would have liked more variety.
But I think that's where you need to focus on the characters to show how they're different people.
Right.
Like, I would have liked to see what it was like for Red Guardian in Russia as the face of his nation, and then U.S. agent being the American.
Yeah, they're both on the same team. Like, they're the same person in different worlds, and then you're like,
I don't think they have. I don't think they share a single dialogue between each other. I don't think they speak to each other.
There's like zero conflict or discussion between them.
Yeah. It just.
But that's one where I don't know. I'm so used to superhero teams being Superman and Flash and Green Lantern and Batman and having such different abilities. But this is everybody's.
That being said, I understand that's not what this team is, and I don't mind that part. I don't mind that part of that.
But even in, for example, the Ellis run, you had Venom and Speedball. And Sword.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like again, like this is a different iteration of this team, and like it's more of like a hunter, seeker, kill team, which is fine. But as Patrick was saying, like give the characters a little more breadth to like show why they are in the positions they're in, or maybe like, or just have them interact with each other more often to show like the differences between themselves, like that kind of thing. Like if there was a little more like characterization, character development over the arc, it would have given this book a lot more going for it.
Well, but also highlighting like not just the differences, but the reason like the Norman Osborn team, their whole goal was to arrest superheroes that wouldn't sign up for the Superhero Registration Act. So they had a diverse group of power sets because they're dealing with random powerful superheroes.
They don't know who they're going to go up against.
This team is all just like Mission Impossible type espionage stuff. So it's more about the fact that they all live in this spy world. So it's all a bunch of spies. That's
but can we talk about how nothing they do is spy-like or
they just fucking
so you've got all these super spies, and then what do? They just go in and blow shit up. Like it's just like that's the opposite of like what the spy team
there is
doing.
no
the only like reasonable spy thing they do is the Doom issue, I would say. But yes, really, they are doing what they're doing, but it has like this. There is a twist at the end, or whatever, like kind of thing, and like.
Well, anyway, they do the usual thing where every issue is like, here's the plan, and then it blows up, we have to fight. But things blow up after 2 sentences. You don't actually get to see them enact any kind of subterfuge or plan before they just immediately have to start fighting everything.
Okay, so real quick before we like dive full on in. We're
never going to dive in. We're 40 minutes into
We're doing it. We're doing it right now.
We haven't.
We're doing it right now after this comment. There's something about a team coming together in comic books that it's akin to Wolverine doesn't have his superpowers right now, and he doesn't have his healing factor, or Superman doesn't have his powers, and it's exhausting to me. So watching a team to come together in the first like 6 issues, I just go, ugh. I have to watch all these characters meet and become a team again, and like it's kind of exhausting. Like team books can be exhausting in the same way comics can.
Well, you don't get any of that here. You're right. None of that happens.
That's kind of my point. I do kind of like that. I like how they just kind of like shoved everyone in real fast and just went, "We're a team, all right." And I was like, okay, I kind of don't hate that. I'm kind of exhausted of like
every
now the issue is about like U.S. agent, and now this issue is about blah blah. And like this was just like another character. I was like, okay, fuck, all right. There was something about the pacing in that respect that I was like, I weirdly appreciate that. It wasn't done great or anything, but I do weirdly appreciate them just going like, listen, here's just a bunch of characters. They're all on a team.
Every issue was just new team member enter stage left.
Yeah.
Literally.
All right,
let's do it.
I said my piece. All
right. So Bucky, back to issue 1. Bucky and Val, the Contessa, choose to team up, and they go to Argentina to hunt because they find out that first of all, plot twist: the ex-Nazi lives in Argentina. Who could have guessed? Who would have guessed?
No one would have known.
But they find out that the Red Skull, and this goes back to we did the Winter Soldier run on this podcast before.
That was actually a fun part of issue 1 for me. I was like, oh shit, we just read Winter Soldier, and we recently read the issues where that guy became Red Skull.
Yeah, we witnessed the Red Skull consciousness.
And now we're watching him die, which I kind of liked. But that was just for me personally.
But we witnessed the Red Skull consciousness take over Lucan.
Yeah.
And so in this run now, they are going after Lucan, who is the Red Skull, who has he has a German castle in Argentina. And I mean by German castle, I mean it's a castle like Neuschwanstein, like it's a German castle.
No, it's a secret castle. No one knows where Argentina is, Al.
I completely forgot that was what happened in Winter Soldier.
For those of you listening, you won't see this on YouTube. You'll see it. They're hiding this castle with giant Nazi flags.
Shh, that's a hidden base.
All over. There are actual just Nazi flags.
It's a hidden base, Al.
Just hanging all over the jungles in Argentina, and that is their hiding place.
Can I whine / bitch and complain about something that I hated with the dialogue?
Yes.
Sure.
There's a lot of redacted curse words.
Yes.
And
there's a lot, yeah.
And it's by a lot, I mean a lot. And it was so much that it took me out of the story. Like every time I was like, holy blank, it's the blank destroyer. I was like, oh, come on.
Well, again, for YouTubers, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, it's just like, but it's very often. It's not like it's every once in a while. It's like, you know, in the comics they would be like asterisks, ampersand, like, you know, like it would like to do a curse word or whatever. I don't mind that they're doing the black bar, like blacking it out or whatever. And but it just seems like the dialogue was just like full of curse words. And I say fucking a lot, so I don't care. Like it's not like it bothered me that they're cursing. It was just that it was like. It was so frequent that there was a black bar in a text box that it like pulled me out of the fucking story. I was just like,
what?
I don't care about cursing. They curse so much that it took me out of the dialogue.
Okay.
Like, I was, oh my God. Can we?
No, that's all true. I do want to
have normal words.
I want to spin us back to some positives. So in this assault on the Nazi camp, we get introduced to Sharon, who looks great.
Oh, she does. She looks fucking cool.
She's got some watermelon crushing muscle bomby thighs. Look at that lower body on this girl. She does squats. She does not skip leg day. Looking great. She's got this cool kind of hockey mask, skull mask looking.
Yeah,
that's kind of like an army of two. If you remember,
I like how it splits in half and goes back over her head. That's
well,
cool.
when the skull part of it retracts and she just has
she still has the lower teeth there.
It's
cool.
It's very Raiden from Metal Gear Solid Revengeance kind of. It's a cool look. It was a cool look. And again,
I don't know what her magical baseball bat is, but like, yeah, she looks fucking cool.
Well, it's a baseball bat lightsaber hybrid thing.
I got you. So weird note. Overall, hate the 2000 or the T1000 arm. Hate it.
When did he get that? What is that?
I don't know when he got it. Maybe it was new for the story. I don't know.
Here's a weird pet peeve as well. I was Googling it, try to figure it out, and you have to go through so many MCU articles to get to the comic articles, and then the comic book stuff stops like 5 years ago. So unless you've read whatever the hell I think something must have happened in the Captain America they keep referencing the Captain America finale in every other conversation.
Oh yeah, they
We'll
do
have
reference that a lot.
asterisks.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
assuming
something must have happened there.
but
Back to Sharon. This is what she looks like with her skull mask.
Yeah, that looks
retracted.
fucking
It looks
cool,
really
man. That's
cool.
awesome.
It's very
That's really
ninja,
awesome.
very ninja from Metal Gear
I like
Solid.
how the teeth on top of her face, or rather, the upper teeth split, but they're on the sides of her face. That looks badass.
Yeah, and again, just
Her mask is cool.
Yeah, and also just the lower half of her body is fit. Just looks great.
No, what's
So
the upper
is
half
she
of her body?
dating Steve now? Is this another MCU becomes? She mentioned
Sharon
she
and Steve
are
in the
dating,
comic
right?
books in the MCU is very sorry, not the MCU, but in the comics it's very
But the
complicated.
comics?
I don't fucking know. I like off
She
and on.
seemed
off
to
and on.
intimate they are dating now. I think there was
Yeah,
a
but
line she mentioned.
when Red Guardian comes in like 5 minutes later and he's coming through the window and you just see the blackout or the silhouette and it's like the star on the shield and he's coming down and then Bucky punches the shield or whatever. She's like, Steve? You know, like why is Steve here? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. And she is Taskmaster?
she's the destroyer.
The
Yeah, she's the
Destroyer.
Destroyer.
She's the Destroyer. Okay.
All right, so here's the thing. The fucking Red Skull in the comic books is infuriating as a character because every time they like kill him or defeat him, he comes back, and it's just like, and he always has.
I wanted to ask what even.
He
is
always
because
has some
he's
fucking hidden base, and he always has more money, and he always so like, as a story, I loved this because it was just like Bucky going, "Yeah, that stops today. We're gonna kill him, and we're gonna find all his money, and we're gonna stop that, and we're gonna if he's alive still, we're gonna stop that. We're gonna keep like as an idea." This is amazing because it's finally like we're taking him out. I'm done with it. Like Bucky Gunn and going like, Steve's never gonna do it, so I'm going to. Like I'm fucking taking this asshole out, and it doesn't matter how many people he kills. And I that on that one aspect of this, I fucking loved it. That being said,
yeah,
pacing was crazy, way too fast,
It
way
is-
too many
it is
characters.
crazy.
So it's like. They didn't do it well, but like as an idea, this story is
I do
great, 'cause I'm
appreciate that because
it's like
in
Professor
this,
X coming alive every 5 seconds after he dies. I fucking hate
Yeah.
Professor X.
Yeah.
But like
but I
it's
do
the same
in this,
thing, Yeah,
this
go
is
ahead.
the same where like in this issue 1, spoiler alert, but they kill him in his base and then he's immediately alive again. And in the past, it would just be sort of like, oh, we'll get him next time. But now Bucky's
Yes,
like, no, we're going to
but like Bucky's like, no,
where
we're
he is
doing that.
now and just
Wherever
kill
he
him
is now,
outright.
we're doing it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I liked about it. So when Sharon like when they reveal the ridiculous castle in Argentina, Sharon literally goes, "Holy blank, you're actually gonna do it," kind of thing. And he's like, "Yeah, that's why we're here tonight. The Red Skull must die." And I'm like that. There's parts of that I'm like, fucking finally, like, take this guy off the board. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is Steve doing after all this time? Like, he's
I'll
the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
it's like why doesn't Batman kill the Joker?
On that point though, I have one
Yeah.
fun, like not funny but also depressing thing. When I was reading it, Sharon particularly, but all of them were like, Nazis are bad. We hate Nazis. Nazis are the worst. Nazis should be stopped. Nazis are bad. And I was
Well,
like,
I'm not
"God,
sure about that.
we
I think that
fucking
can be
get it."
debated.
And then I was like,
Well,
"You guys are really,
Patrick,
like-"
given today's political climate, maybe
Well,
you have
that's
to
my
reiterate
point.
many
That's
times.
my point. I was
that
like,
Nazis are bad.
if I had read this 10 years ago, I'd be like, okay, yeah, everyone fucking knows Nazis are bad. But now I'm like, actually, you probably could have mentioned it a few more times and done a few more little metaphors, maybe.
In,
I don't know.
in 2025,
Really
it's
need to
not-
hammer this home. Nazis are bad.
2025, this
They're
needs
the
to be
bad
hammered home
guys.
a little bit
Yeah,
more.
it's not so universally accepted that Nazis are evil. in
Just
2025.
like Nazis are the bad guys. Still, just so you're aware, everybody. So they fight some Nazi super soldiers, and it's revealed very quickly that Val is like not a human, and
she's a
like,
cyborg. She's a
and she
robot.
blasts that
She's a
dude in the
life
face,
model
which I love.
decoy.
Yeah, but she's like a step up.
We
she's
also, once they get into the castle, also we get the it's not the Red Tornado. What's his name? The Guardian.
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian.
Yeah.
Red Guardian shows up, which is also because he's in the movies, so he must be in the comics.
Well, that makes sense,
I've one art note I want to criticize: the shields are too circular. They're like too spherical.
Yeah, he looks
it's almost too rounded.
Dragon Ball.
Right?
They're too right. They don't look like shields. They look more like just full,
like a half
spheres.
dome.
Yeah.
You're like,
so
what are you doing?
In U.S. Agents is the same way too. It's just a weird. He draws.
That being said, I know we kind of mentioned this a tiny bit at the beginning, but I really do I like the art. I didn't read this the entire time. There was very few panels that I was like, that was weak. Like most of the time I was like, pretty good art. I like it. It's not like there's nothing, I don't know, groundbreaking or anything about it in terms of modern comics, but like serviceable art. I think he did a good job drawing Bucky. I liked how he drew most of the characters, but pretty good art.
All right, but let's just, I want to speed through this first issue. So they continue to fight the Red Skull, and actually going back to the art and the action blocking visually, I thought it was a pretty good fight. They're slamming shields back and forth. Everybody's involved. I do want to just talk about how funny it is. So I thought this was hilarious. Red Skull comes in with a spike ball, like an electricity spike ball that he's fighting them with. And at a certain point, the spikes shoot out as missiles.
Oh my god!
Spiked mace, the spikes shoot out as missiles, and I thought, why not? Why not have that happen?
Go ahead, Patty. I know you have something to say. No, I thought you did.
No, all right. I just thought that was funny because it's just.
I saw Patrick on mute, and I was like, "Oh, Patrick's about to say something."
But I just read this as like this kind of comical evil. Well, you stopped my mace, but could you stop the spikes?
But what about missiles that shoot out from my spike? That is such G.I. Joe nonsense that, not only did Patrick mention the pacing earlier, but this so much reminded me of the Duke comic that we just read recently about, it's just so fast. And it's like, the next issue is crazy shit happening. The next issue is crazy shit. And I was like, oh shit, this kind of reminds me of G.I. Joe. kind of thing. Anyway. But with the missiles shooting out of a mace, I was like, that's like G.I. Joe shit. That's like... That's like silly. Destro has a metal mask and somehow his mouth moves with it. It doesn't make any sense. And he shoots rockets off it doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of masks, I do want to call out the quality of Lucan's Red Skull mask because it looks like it's legit his face. If you look at these panels.
I have to be honest, I completely forgot that entire plot line from Winter Soldier. So when they take the mask off at the end, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
But Patrick, but part of it is, you have to admit, that's an incredible mask.
It's a very good mask.
I thought it was great.
Then also, he threatens Sharon and basically tells her that he can make that skull mask like a better fit or something. So I thought he was talking about burning her flesh off, but he's also wearing a mask. It's just a better, version.
Yeah,
more realistic. I wouldn't say better.
Yes, he is.
Cool.
Yes, he
her
is.
Mask is pretty amazing.
However, that's what he meant, though. He's referring to old Red Skull.
Yeah, but then it's like, oh, you're also wearing a mask. I mean, what are you talking about?
Right, but I just wanted to call out the craftsmanship of that mask because it legitimately looks like that is his face. But then Bucky pulls it off, and it's a hairy Russian man there. And then Bucky murders him. Yeah, and then Bucky just murders the guy, and
that's
just like.
I mean, again, not shocking or anything because that's Bucky. So okay, but at the same time, a little shocking in terms of theoretically you're a superhero team. Yeah.
They're like X-Force. They're like the X-Force from the Utopia days.
The key is that the tone is set very early on that this isn't going to be like normal Thunderbolts even with Norman Osborn where they're pretending to be superheroes. This is like Bucky on an execution mission and he's bringing people on that will do the mission with him and not maybe cry about how many people they kill along the way. Because he kills a lot of people.
But but this is where
starting with Red Skull.
This is where I want to ask my Red Skull question because they kill him, but then at the end of the issue, the camera pans down this long hallway, and we see that the skull is sitting on his hoard of gold as if he were a dragon, and he just says, "You killed a pretender. I am the end." And I just, What is I thought the Red Skull was the Nazi who got acid on his face and was a Red Skull, but apparently he's an interdimensional being who can take over. I mean, what the fuck is happening?
Okay, so
Who is the Red Skull?
So many things. So many things. First of all, he's had the cosmic cube so many times I can't even count.
Right.
So every time
he's
they
the
get rid of him,
the cosmic being.
every time they get rid of him,
the...
he just comes back, and it's
Yeah.
just like this annoying thing. This iteration that you're reading at the end of this hallway with the gold thing is theoretically some version that's just been hiding underground for 80 fucking years.
So it's not even
Anyway,
the cosmic cube. This is
so
just
everything that
Red
you
Skull.
read during Winter Soldier, where you're like, it was a big deal that he was trying to stay alive and he took over Lucan's body, apparently didn't matter because this guy's just been sitting here the whole time.
This is the completely separate.
It's
Red
insane.
Skull.
Like they do this every fucking time with Red Skull. He never dies. It's always like God damn it. Anyway,
okay.
Comics.
So
he's
whatever.
frustrating. He's Professor X frustrating.
I did get really
So-
confused when he said 80 years. I was like, wait, they killed? I thought this was like
that
a flash
means that Red Skull has had like an alternate version of him just hiding underground for 80 fucking years, waiting for the one moment where the one that's out there that's not quite as cool as the current Red Skull that's underground is eventually going to be take his time. And
also hiding in Latveria, which was 80 years ago,
Yeah,
was Doom in control. What even
the
was
fuck?
Latveria 80 years ago?
That's why it was such a great
But
hiding
still,
spot.
I feel like Doom would have figured it out. I don't know.
Well,
I
I have other questions about Doom we'll get to at the end, but
Okay.
okay.
At any rate, Red Skull, after they assassinate him, is still alive. And that's the rest of this arc.
Somewhere
Okay.
else.
Issue 2, Hellfire Gala.
Yeah. So this is them plot-wise. They're just going after Red Skull's money. They don't necessarily know Red Skull's still alive.
Was the Red Skull?
They don't know
he-
that.
Was he
What?
in
Go
the
ahead.
Hellfire Club?
Apparently.
No. This is
What
just
the fuck is going
this
on?
is just supervillain money transactions.
No, he
that are,
was
like,
in the Hellfire
loosely
Club
connected to
because
bullshit.
his money is going to go to the. I think he was
But
involved
was
in
he?
the club. and
I
that's
think
why
the
his
Hellfire
money
Club
goes
is
to-
acting as like a go-between. Like in the case of his death, his money would go here, and they would like facilitate the transaction. I don't
Okay,
think that's
telling
anything more
me-
than that.
You're telling me that Emma Frost was part of the same organization as the leader of the Nazis for
Yeah.
No,
I guess,
no,
apparently.
no. The Hellfire Club is operating as a separate entity that is like taking a hold of this lunatic's money in the case of his death to transfer it to whoever it needs to go to later.
But are
It's
we
almost like a will and testament of the Red Skull, and it's handled by these
okay? But so
supervillain brokers, kind of thing.
So
Does that make sense?
This money that they are
as much as the rest of the
transferring-
book did, I guess.
But so, Joe, the money that they are transferring now is
Mhm.
not the hoard of gold that the 80-year-old Red Skull is sitting on in Latveria.
No.
This is the separate
No.
hoard of money
Separate.
that he also had. Okay,
Current modern day Red Skull that died when Bucky killed him
has a
Had a
separate
shit
thing
ton of money. Yeah, like
That is
Nazi
not
gold
the
that he is
gold
now
that- okay.
transferring to like
Okay.
himself essentially, but they don't know
Okay.
that. Like the gold is going from somewhere to somewhere. The Hellfire Club is acting as like the bank that is transferring the money. So
and
they're
this is another
infiltrating the
one
Hellfire
where-
Club to be like, where's this money going? They don't know that it's going to a new Red Skull or the old Red Skull, however we're going to phrase it. But like they just think it's going to go to wherever the fuck Red Skull's money's going to, and they want to cut that off at the source. That's their mission in this issue.
So
And
is
I also-
This
Fisk
being
work-
said, it's insane and
Fisk-
convoluted.
So is Fisk working for Crazy Red Skull in the bunker in Latveria?
No, Fisk
No.
is in the Hellfire Club. He's the White King of the.
I know,
Hellfire
but
Club.
he says that he knows the Red Skull is still alive, which implies
Yeah,
he's
because he
aware
knows where the
of-
money's going now. But I don't think he knew that, like, I don't know, 10 days ago or whatever. Like,
I
however
guess I
long
just
ago
don't-
Red Skull died.
I don't understand why Fisk would help Red Skull. Like I don't understand
Pat,
that.
Again,
What-
like Last Will and Testament style, like I die and then I go, Patrick, all my money goes to you. And then like there's a go-between between those things happening.
The
and then, like, they're
only
going, I think it's just Kingpin going, oh, Red Skull's money going to actual Red Skull.
Look, the main thing you need to understand is that this does not,
Is
none of
nothing.
this matters.
Is nothing.
None of this matters.
It
None of
does
these
matter.
details actually
It does matter because I don't Fisk working with the top Nazi. I'm like, I thought Fisk had a more of like a moral compass than that. I don't know.
Does he?
I don't.
Well, but he's
Yeah,
just
I would
dealing with
say
the money.
so.
I think Fisk would deal with Nazi money. I don't see why he wouldn't touch Nazi money.
Yes.
Agreed.
But didn't the Joker wouldn't deal with Nazis? So I mean that says something, right?
The Joker would set their money on fire.
Yeah, as I'm saying, the Joker lost his shit when he found out the Red Skull was a Nazi. Fisk is like, yes, let me help you launder this fucking Nazi.
Why are we in the business of character redeeming villains as Nazi haters?
Because
When did that
Nazis
start?
are bad. They're the worst kind.
Well, but so is the Joker.
I don't know if you
they're
picked
all
up on the
bad,
message
but-
from the first issue, but Nazis are bad.
Well, but like
We
the
should
Joker
not-
is also bad. Why are we?
We should
why
not
do we
be.
need to
That's the
establish
point.
The
The
Joker's
Joker-
chaos.
Even the Joker is like, you're a fucking Nazi? What the fuck? I don't want to work with you.
Regardless, we were introduced to another tall, beautiful blonde woman in all white who is not Sharon.
Who I thought was Sharon for most
but
of the
this
issue.
is the White Widow.
They did a very, very bad job of telling us that was a new woman.
Yeah.
It took
I
me
mean,
like
is-
4 pages.
Is it
to
obvious with the
realize.
Black Widow belt? Yes. Did I pick up on that right away? No.
There's a Black Widow
Totally.
belt? What are you talking about?
I mean, she's wearing the little circles around her waist.
Oh,
That's a Black
I
Widow
wouldn't
thing.
pick
Well,
up
but
on
it's
all.
lots of people have had that belt. I don't know.
I mean, that's a very Black Widow.
They also, I gotta say, both.
have. / White Widow, I guess.
Well, both Nat and White Widow don't skip leg days either. Look at that. Look at that
Do not.
thickness they got going on there.
Oh, should I frame that picture up higher on YouTube?
Okay, but so they get to the Hellfire Club, and again, the conceit is that they're transferring Red Skull's money. There's a Daft Punk member who has an interdimensional vault in his chest who's carrying the money, and so the Thunderbolts.
There's a money MacGuffin, and they're
There's a
trying
money
to
MacGuffin who's got a
trying to
Daft
get
Punk
rid of it.
helmet.
Yeah.
And the Thunderbolts' mission is to get that money and eliminate it so that the 80-year-old Red Skull in Latveria, who already is sitting on gold, can't get more money. Even though he's already sitting on gold.
He's not sitting on that much gold. Do you see how much gold is in that Daft Punk guy's chest? A lot.
I mean, dude, the value of gold, I mean, now that the dollar's down, the value of gold has gone up. So it's
Yeah.
actually
This is my number one takeaway
So-
from this issue. I don't have a picture of it on YouTube, so here you go. She just touches her ear. Classic spy. Not good
Okay, well
maneuver.
that also
all I
bothered
thought
me
of.
because
All I thought of was Casino Royale, where James Bond is like, "Don't stop touching your fucking ear, you idiot." You know, like, kind of thing.
Also,
Like she's
her-
like, "What was that, Bucky? Hello?" You know, like doing this and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Also, her earpiece, even if she didn't touch it, is
It's
visible.
huge
It is
and
a
obvious.
giant. It looks like an
Well,
actual like
What are you
earbud.
doing?
in
And Nat, yeah.
in
those
in
are
this panel
actual
when
earbuds
Natasha
that are
Natasha
visual.
Natasha is talking to this man and she starts talking shit about him, but the art, she's right in front of him still. She's right in front of him.
But
She says,
Patrick, she's
I can
holding
only make
she's
chit
holding a
chat with the
champagne
butcher
glass.
of Mach. Like it just I don't know.
Pat, have you never
Only-
have you
She literally says, "Patrick, I can only talk to him so long before I snap." And then he's like right in front of her, and she's like,
He's
"Oh,
right
I'm
there.
sorry.
Pat,
I'm sorry."
I'm
Let me
sorry.
touch my ear so I can.
Have you
That was-
never
that was to go
negged?
to-
Have you never negged a man? That's how you get tail, bro. You got to neg. That's how you develop
I see what you did there.
relative value.
Face.
Hey,
part of the game,
seriously,
bro.
can we stop for a second, Patrick? I don't know how long
the
I can
vibrating
keep
sound.
talking to Al.
Oh,
Shit.
It's kind of the worst.
I'm gonna act as if
Ah,
I'm not
shit.
hearing this, even
What?
though I clearly can. I'm just gonna act like I'm not hearing it, even though it's clearly
I don't know
being
how
said
I
right
don't know
next
how
to me.
much longer I can keep doing this.
I don't need.
Anyway,
Okay.
transferring money. You know, I don't know.
Drop,
All right,
Mine-
so this is
My number
Go
one
ahead.
note for this issue was, "What the fuck, Black Widow is Venom." Was my
Yeah,
number one note.
every-
She is.
they're just all over
apparently
There's
the
been
place.
Venom.
so much symbiote shit over the last few years that I have never remotely kept up with it, so I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how long she's had this. Don't know what the repercussions are. Don't know if she's like half crazy because of a symbiote thing. Like
There's probably no repercussions.
I have nothing.
Yeah, it's probably completely fine.
So I just went, oh, she's got a symbiote. Okay, moving on. Like that's how I read that in this book. Yeah. But like, who the fuck
I mean,
knows,
she looks
man?
good. It's, you know, like every other symbiote.
I mean,
guess,
I think it's cool that they have extra powers. Don't get me wrong. Like, how many times have you read the Avengers books and you're like, really? Iron Man exists and Hawkeye's running around with a bow and arrow? Really? Like, you don't give him some armor?
Did you guys know that? So I fell down a rabbit hole the other day, like on a Venom thing. Did you know that the symbiotes are related to like Gore's God Death Sword and like the Nothingness and Null and all that? It's fucking insane. Yeah, I did not know that, but
I actually don't mind that they gave it like a origin of some kind like that. And that being said, have not read any of that stuff.
I don't know. I
know of Null, and I know of the fact that the sword is a thing, and it was like loosely connected to the Gore sword, and that's kind of that's it. Like I know of Null with the character, and I know that he's the source of all symbiotes or whatever, and that everything that has come since is like from him, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of didn't mind it when they were alien symbiotes. That's fine. You know, instead of being tied to this like god of nothingness and death or something.
Well, that being said, I don't know if you guys were reading Spider-Man back in the day, but like when Eddie Brock got the symbiote, for instance, I was just like, oh, cool. But when Carnage came around, I was like, okay. And then ever since then, I was like, so like literally I was in it for one extra symbiote, and now there's a billion, and I'm like,
there's way too many.
I don't know, there's just a shitload.
All right, but so Nat suits up as Venom, and they try to infiltrate and get. I mean, I don't even know why. We don't really need to go into details of what's happening because it just doesn't
I mean, it's
matter,
basically just. Right? I mean, Bucky does do an amazing backwards superhero hand scrape backwards across the ground while he
does, because
that was very Rock Lee
him back, and he
very Rock Lee when he fought Gara. For those Naruto fans out there,
there's a scene on the next page. Go ahead.
Goes in. She just goes into the pocket dimension and I guess blows it up.
Oh yeah. Before that, Bucky just blasts a guy in the face and then jumps to the elevator, and he does a Liquid Terminator door hand thing.
Yes, that was very Terminator.
I was like, weird, don't like it. I don't like the T-1000 arm. But yeah.
So
the whole plan is that Natasha is going to dive into the pocket dimension inside this guy.
Daft Punk's pocket dimension, and she drops the bomb in there.
She's going to blow up all the Nazi gold,
So she drops the bomb, it blows up the gold. They also fight Fisk for a bit, and anyway, it doesn't matter. All of it ends, but they do blow up the gold and they get away.
Can I ask
you also
something?
Nat and Bucky are dating? Did you know that?
Oh yeah, together? So that's actually not weird. That well,
I'm not saying it's weird. I just didn't know they were dating.
I don't know how. Again, I'm not deep into like current day Marvel Universe stuff, but like, I mean, that's old. You know, like they've done that before. I don't know how many times they've done it and how many times they've broken up or whatever the fuck, but like that's not a weird pairing, I guess.
I do think it's weird that they're in the same airplane as two other people and they just start hot making out like in front of the other two people. And this is on a mission. This is a professional setting. They're on a mission and they're just dry humping each other in the back of a Quinjet.
Can I ask you guys something? Like Kingpin, what does he mean to you? What are his power sets? Like, what is he capable of?
Well, time out. Joe, before we get into it, let's zoom out. I have a general question about Marvel villain scope creep. Because, and this goes back to what I mentioned about the Red Skull earlier. Like, I thought he was just a Nazi with his face burnt off. Wilson Fisk, I thought he was the crime boss in New York that fisticuff fought Daredevil every once in a while. Dr. Doom, I thought he was a smart dude with some inventions. He's apparently Thor, the god of lightning. Like, what is all these villains are gods, basically. Everybody's Thanos.
Doom is a science magic guy. He's very
it's magic mixed with science, so it's always.
But I just mean to say my conception.
There's no nth degree to Doom.
Right, but
that being said,
my conception
Fisk.
when we were kids is that these were all like segmented.
Well, you were wrong as a
villains
kid, because if
who
you
were in a
actually
box.
watched Spider-Man the animated series,
if you would
knew
just
that
watch
Kingpin-
Spider-Man the animated series out.
No, I know
We-
Fisk was like a
and-
strong guy, but I just mean it.
He's
just
also
seems
as
like
agile as a cat.
Okay.
He says he's as agile as a cat.
I know.
It's a core memory of Spider-Man the animated series. Is like,
I get
what?
that. The main bullet point I'm trying to make is that it feels like today every Marvel villain is fucking Thanos. And there's no like segmentation or lower level villains anymore. It's just they're all S tier.
You read
God villains.
Even
and it's crazy.
Semi current. We read Bendis's run on Daredevil. Fisk is like a big strong dude.
Yeah.
A hallway explodes, and he just comes out of the rubble like, "I'm still up." Like, what are you doing? What is this? You're just a dude. I don't understand. Like, I love Wilson Fisk as a villain, but like when you put him on this scale, it's so silly. Like, keep him down. Keep him down on the scale where he should be. If that was the normal White King, he would have been like fucked up and like just passed out, and they would have been like, "We got away." You know, like that would have been the end. But they had to make Fisk be like, "I'm going to stand up out of this rubble, and like all the cinders are falling off my shoulders, like nothing burned my suit."
again,
and you're
it's
just
the
like, "What the fuck is going on, man?" I don't.
So T-1000 Bucky and two widows could not take him down.
Yeah,
He is
that's
still
insane.
alive and
That's
fine.
insane.
Yeah. It's just crazy. All the scope creep of Marvel villain, it's just it's just insane. I don't know how to describe it. They're all like
Doom,
S-tier guys.
I don't. So with Doom, I agree with Patrick. I'm like, no, you're crazy. Doom's always been like that way. That being said, Fisk. What was the other one you mentioned?
Well, Red Skull 2 is now
Red Skull.
interdimensional immortal being of all time.
Yeah, like I said, man, it's the fucking cosmic cube 8,000 times over, and like he never dies, and like he's always got a backup body and like a backup thing, and he has more powers, or he steals Steve's body, and like it's just endless regurgitation. That's kind of what I was saying about what I appreciated about the story arc, because it was like Bucky going like, "Hey, you know all that shit with Red Skull that you guys have been annoyed with over the last 20 years? We're stopping that." And I was like, I kind of like that.
But it feels
the execution
like if,
not so much, but
it feels like if in the DC universe every villain was Darkseid.
Yeah,
like
kinda.
If Deathstroke was Darkseid,
they're just
and Lady Shiva was Darkseid,
it's like insane.
and everybody was Darkseid. But that's what the Marvel universe is. Everybody is just way too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. But anyway, so they burn
Yeah.
the Red Skull gold, and we find out that the Red Skull is in Latveria. End of issue.
Well, they made a specific.
That being said,
point,
they did accomplish their
bringing-
mission of
bringing Daredevil. Well, on that same note, bringing Daredevil over to the MCU, they like. I remember reading an article about how the Kingpin now has like super strength and all this other shit. Like they're not going to explain it, but yeah, the MCU version of Kingpin, even this is the same actor, he's more powerful. That's why he can survive like a bullet to the fucking chest or whatever would happen in the end of Hawkeye and
in Hawkeye, yeah,
all that shit.
Eyes.
That's
why I had the
fucking
that's why I had the.
God damn.
He got a bullet in his eye.
He's like, oh.
Anyway, and then in Daredevil Born Again, he just has a little scar right here, and he's like, "I'm good." You're like, "What the fuck?" I mean, granted, they did say like, "Oh, it's been a long time. You've been gone." He was recovering. Like it wasn't like he was like, "And I'm back and I'm fine. Everything's fine." It was like it had been a long time, and he's, now he's back, and his wife's been doing all the mob shit forever or whatever. But you're just like, but at the same time, you're like, you want to, I don't know, explain the fact that he's not just a normal human being and just got blasted in the brain with a fucking bullet.
Well, speaking of wives, in this issue, Fisk mentions his wife, but it's not Vanessa.
That's not
Mary.
Vanessa.
He doesn't say
It's
Vanessa.
Typhoid Mary, yeah.
Vanessa.
So
Where's Vanessa?
he was able to get citizenship on Krakoa, and that's how he got involved with the Hellfire Trading Company, was through Typhoid Mary, because he's a mutant.
Oh, wait. Patrick.
Yeah.
You're saying things that we didn't know. Tell us more.
So he's married to the mutant Typhoid Mary to get access to get Krakoan citizenship to get access to the Hellfire Club.
No, I think he actually did love Typhoid Mary, or like as much as he can love someone, I suppose. But the fact that he was married to her, he was like, "Hey, mutants, you dum-dums made this law about how spouses are Krakoan citizens." And then Emma and him kind of hit it off, and I think he becomes part of the Hellfire Trading Club. Is that what it's called? Trading company? But yeah, this version of him, I guess that's why I was like, I don't really know. I don't understand the character. He's different in every single comic I read about him. But
yeah.
Anyway, let's go to issue 3.
American Kaiju.
No, well, issue 3 is American Peril.
Oh, sorry.
Issue 3. So I want to go back to a point Patrick made. One of his first points is about the just bonkers pacing of this. So the first 2 issues are breakneck. We're going after Red Skull. Here's the new team member. Don't worry about it. We're doing this.
Yeah,
issue
what's this
3,
one?
And issue 3 is we're going to do this whole issue in order to recruit U.S. Agent.
And Shang-Chi.
Well, Shang-Chi's already recruited.
Is he?
Yeah. He's already on the team.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by the pacing is it's just a complete...
I don't know if he's already on the team. He's just a simple wanderer.
They're on. He's got the AirPods that Nat was using in the Hellfire Club to talk to.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's just a dumb thing he said when he's talking to US.
But I just mean it's just weird. Again, the structure is so weird because the first 2 issues have nothing to do with recruiting people. They're just going after Red Skull. The 3rd issue is devoted to recruiting somebody they really don't need because he's like triplicative of other 8 people on the team.
Well, yeah. Didn't you think they were? I thought they were recruiting the guy that can turn into Godzilla.
No, they were recruiting US Agent.
God, they already have.
Right? Doesn't make sense. So
you know what we need on this team? A super soldier with a shield.
If I was Red Guardian, I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Well, but we need an American.
What am I here for?
We need an American.
Oh wait, can I? Again, just a quick Red Guardian beat from issue 1 when he's like, "I brought that vodka you asked for." He's like, "Thanks," and he lights it on fire. He's like, "I brought that drink you asked for." I'm like, "That was in your pocket this entire time." And then Bucky's just like, "Thanks, bro," and he lights it on fire and smashes it in the castle, and the castle's on fire. And I was like, that was kind of a that's the way you burn down the castle. Weird. Oh, it was a weird move, but I thought it was funny that he had fucking vodka. Anyway, it's just a dumb thing.
Back to issue 3. So first off, I want to say, U.S. Agent Pat, how do we feel? Pretty stout, muscular build on this guy. How do we feel about
looking at that page? What page are you looking at? That
was a super soldier.
I mean,
he's dude's built like a brick. Dude's just a brick. I mean, he's kind of.
I guess.
Just wanted to ask how we felt about that.
I feel pretty good about it. I feel better than I feel about Bucky. I think I'd still go the Red Guardian over.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, Red Guardian's a more classic. Yeah. Okay, but so we.
I feel you on that, Patrick. Don't get me wrong.
So I really don't want to spend more than 5 minutes on this issue. Because
so the only connection to Red Skull in this, though, is like that Red Skull having like agents within the U.S. military, which I guess is American Kaiju. That's really the only loose connection to
agents?
Yeah.
So we find out
like Bucky walks in and sees him, and then like he's like approaching Target 2, and he's like, "Y'all got American cheese?" He's like, "Ziller, I'm gonna need you to come with me." And he's like, "Who the hell are you?" Because I only answered the President of the United, and then his little eyeball goes like Red Skull, and he goes
override,
and then
override, and you can see the skull in his eyeball. Yeah.
Did y'all know about this character?
Y'all got American cheese, Patrick?
Okay, we're gonna get to that in a second, Patrick. 2 things. 1, what's happening here allegedly
is Rackist. Sorry. What?
Well, what's happening allegedly is that the Red Skull has agents in the U.S. military, and so he has U.S. Agent and Ziller going on this mission to steal gold from the U.S. Like everything. Why does the Red Skull need this much gold?
Why does he need this much gold? Listen, Al, have you ever tried to fund a terrorist organization?
I guess not.
Clearly not, because it takes a lot
But so for those
of gold.
everybody keeping
and
score
I don't know
at
if you
home,
know this, but the last issue, they blew up at all his gold.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so for those of you keeping score
You
at
could be
home,
sitting on a pirate or a dragon hoard of gold. It's not
Right.
enough.
for everybody keeping score at home, the Red Skull is sitting on a dragon hoard of gold. He
No,
also had
not enough.
Daft Punk alternate dimension money, which is gone.
Gone.
So now he also has U.S. Treasury money he's going to steal to add to his gold. It's just
You can't use the dragon horde money, because if you use the dragon horde money, then there's nothing to
well,
hoard.
that's the nest.
Hoard
That's
off.
the nest.
Also, what are you going to sit on? What are you going to sit on? Also, how many Argentinian castles are you going to build with that much gold? One?
Yeah.
You need
Also,
7.
the Dragon Horde gold is technically in his 401k, which he can't withdraw from until he's 70.
Yeah,
he's
can't
80.
until he's 80
years old, so he could withdraw from it. He could very well withdraw from it. Okay.
Anyway,
so what's
American
happening
Kaiju
here
happens.
is Shang-Chi and Bucky and the team know that U.S. Agent and American Kaiju are secretly working for the Skull, even though they don't know, but they know because, as Patrick mentioned, Bucky has intel. Bucky's intel told them that that's what's going on. So they confront U.S. Agent, but U.S. Agent is lightly racist and doesn't like being told what to do by a Chinese man.
Racist.
And so he and Shang-Chi start fighting. American Kaiju is heavily racist and just starts becoming a kaiju and destroying Hong Kong.
What kind of cheese you got in this restaurant?
Y'all got American cheese? So another question Patrick had: what is American Kaiju? American Kaiju debuted in New Avengers Volume 4, Number 8 in 2015.
I was gonna say this is new, right?
Yeah.
Because I have
This is new.
zero knowledge.
So when Avengers Idea Mechanics attempted to rescue Rick Jones from S.H.I.E.L.D.'s custody, the American
Avengers
Kaiju...
Idea Mechanics?
Yep.
Oh, so new aim.
When that happened, American Kaiju attacked Avengers Island with full force, and the
Jones is
Avenger
involved?
5 fought the Beast.
Oh, if Rick Jones is involved, I don't want to hear the rest of it.
It's Rick Jones is involved.
Listen,
So this
is
when
who the hell are you? Because I only answered the president.
In The King in Black, Planet of the Symbiotes, number 2, the American
fuck up.
Kaiju showcased just how powerful he is. No, don't stop me, Patrick. You want to hear this. Ziller was unleashed to fight Null's symbiote dragons, which he was able to
That
do
makes sense.
comfortably,
Makes
purging them
sense.
one by one.
which he was
although,
able to do comfortably.
Yeah. So American Kaiju defeated the symbiote dragons in War of Null, Symbiote War number 2. Anyway, that's who he is, Pat.
I bet one of the
That's who
outcomes
he
of
is.
Symbiote War was that Black Widow has a symbiote.
Probably.
I don't know.
I mean, who knows?
And Patrick, to answer your other question, why is he? It was a military experiment. He took a serum and became the American Kaiju.
How does the American flag populate on his chest when he turns into a giant?
Listen, we don't question that.
It's part
Patrick.
of the serum, dude.
It's tattooed on his forehead. It's tattooed on his forehead, very small. So when he turns big, it's huge.
Well, but it's on his neck. It's like
it's on his neck.
and
It's tattooed on his
chest.
neck and forehead and chest, very small. And then when it's like inflating a balloon. It's a small mark, and then when it, like
It's
you blow
also
it up,
on his
it
forehead.
turns
He has a
gigantic.
tiny one on his forehead, a bigger one on his neck. And anyway, to move this along,
I mean, he's American Kaiju.
Shang-Chi takes one of his 10 rings off and gives it to Bucky, so Bucky becomes giant.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then giant Bucky fights American Kaiju and is about to kill him, but then U.S. Agent ricochets his shield off, causing Bucky to pause, and then Bucky
All right,
realizes...
there's a few beats here that you're skipping over that I want
But
to
why?
about.
But why?
But why talk? Why
But
talk
why
about
spend
it?
time on it, Joe?
Because first of all, they do the classic. He's calming down, and then the Air Force comes in and blows a missile in his face, and then he gets mad again. So it's just like classic kaiju bullshit, where it's just like Godzilla's chilling out for a second, and then like the military comes in and like, let's shoot a missile in his face, and then that happens. Then there's also Bucky going like, I could shoot him right now. And Shang-Chi is like, why aren't you? And he's like, I don't know. Let's see how this plays.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know. He wants to give. I get it. He's like giving the partner a chance to like calm him down. Doesn't work because the bomb goes off, right? And then so Bucky is then gigantic, as Al was saying. Their fight is insane. Like he chucks him into like 7,000 buildings.
He kills a lot of people.
He judo flips him into buildings.
Bucky flips him into so many buildings.
They destroy retention walls. Like the water from the harbor is.
There's people scrambling away, and there's zero chance they lived. Those are dead people that we're looking at.
They're children. They're children. Those are children.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a mom
Again,
with a child.
I feel for listeners who maybe haven't read this.
Definitely small children.
Well, for listeners who maybe haven't read this, I feel like we have to reiterate what we're talking about, literally, is a soldier who gets angry and grows into a Godzilla with an American flag tattooed on his forehead and chest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this isn't metaphor. This is what happens in the comic. He becomes a giant Godzilla, and he and Bucky have a kaiju battle in Hong Kong. This is issue 3.
So, as insane and stupid as this is, I do.
Period. There's no comment. It's just period.
No,
there's nothing beyond that.
There.
No. I do sort of love. I do sort of love Walker wanting to like connect with his partner, and he's like, "Don't kill him." And the thing that holds Bucky back is his memory of
because Cap. He knows what that's like, because he was the monster that Cap fought for, and so he.
And there's a little tiny bit of that I was like, oh,
I do want to say that Bucky was a metaphorical monster, not a literal.
Yeah,
this is a literal.
And I know it's insane. The whole thing's insane. But I do love that beat of like Walker and Bucky connecting on that level, and like meeting eyes and going like, "Oh, you're asking me to do the thing that I was unwilling to do, or like that I was, like don't kill me." Basically, Walker is asking Bucky not to kill himself. In the skew of like where their characters were.
An artistic design note, I want to talk about. I like Walker's mask on his how it kind of comes up around the chin, and it's kind of like
I like that. Yeah,
mask more than a helmet. I think that's a cool look, and also you can see he's genuinely worried for his little friend.
Yeah, he's upset. Like that's what I'm saying. Like there was an actual genuinely emotional beat there that I actually like amongst all this insanity. Actually penetrated through, and I went, all right, kind of liked that part.
Not so concerned about all the civilians on the ground.
No.
I mean, again, I know it would have
amongst all the insanity.
I know it would have caused like a giant tsunami, probably, anyways. But also, when he throws kaiju into the buildings, like the ocean is right there. You could have thrown him out into the ocean. And not directly into all these skies.
You could have not escalated the conflict by becoming a giant thing to fight him as well.
It doesn't even matter that he's throwing them into buildings, because like there's still plenty of fucking water. There's still plenty of fucking death.
Also, I mean, the point I'd make is
devastatingly bad.
Also, none of those bystanders, Patrick, are really people. This is Hong Kong. They're not Americans.
They're not real people.
Not even Americans. They don't have superpowers.
But so at the end of this, because of the heart-to-heart eye contact that Bucky and Walker make, Bucky says, "Hey, why don't you, U.S. agent, why don't you join our team too? Because we don't have enough shield-wielding super soldiers.
We don't have enough shield-wielding super soldiers on the team.
We got 2 Widows. We got 2 Captain Americas.
Why don't you join the team?
Join the team.
Tertiary shield-wielding super soldier.
All right, let's get to the end. Let's just get to issue 4. Let's just get to issue 4.
All right, this issue I kind of like only in the sense of the countdown part. So I enjoyed that aspect. I liked the like Doom 5 minutes away, Doom 4 minutes away. Like I like that kind of thing. But like I don't know, it's a little weak in terms of what the fuck's going on. I did love Red Skull just decimating the team. He crushes Val. He crushes U.S. Agent. Just destroys them. Just it's
real, but
brutal. It's brutal.
What are
it's
the
pretty
real
awesome.
Red Skull's power? He's also a super soldier. Is he more?
Yeah, he's the Nazi version of Captain America. He's a super soldier.
Okay,
Yeah.
but he's like stronger
Nazi
than
Captain
all
America.
of them. But he's stronger than all of them.
I think by the way, there's some real when we see Red Skull like sitting on the throne, and first of all, the team comes down, they're in the Latveria, they smash open a weird, I don't know, sewer manhole that is a golden sewer manhole that is like the entrance.
Well, it's
to
a
the
golden
underground.
Nazi eagle.
It's a golden Nazi sewer manhole into the bunker. But
yeah.
The page with Red Skull on it, it's very Invincible with the monsters, with the
reanimate.
Right? Yeah, their doctor,
reanimate.
Dr. Akins, or who the doctor is. But yeah, it's those kind of
not to knock the art because it's good art, but it's very like derivative of like Invincible shit.
Dr. Sinclair, D.A. Sinclair.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, they look like the Sinclair bots.
So basically, to get into the bunker, Red Guardian basically is wasted because they use him to drop down and like take out all the defenses, and then after that he kind of collapses. So the rest of the team comes down. So he's kind of down for the count, and then the Red Skull's there, and he's like, "Welcome to fucking death," kind of thing, and they all fight.
Well, so where does Red Skull? He has a space Thanos suit. Where did that? He's been in here for 80 years. Where did he make that?
He's got a lot of silkworms, and
why does he have he has a Masters of the Universe fantasy throne? What? So where does this aesthetic come from? I don't understand.
The indication is that he has been stealing like at least human beings, if not more, from Latveria and like over 80 fucking years, and like making zombies, and like hence the skull throne that he's on.
Yeah, but where does this aesthetic come from? It's not Nazi. Where does it's like 80s fantasy?
I don't know, because it's so all right. There's two things I actually like.
Frank Frazetta shit.
It does feel, on that note, yeah, that's silly, but it does feel like super villain level Red Skull to me. So I kind of love that because like over the years he has kind of become Lucan in disguise with a red mask on his face, and you're like, oh, I wish old Red Skull would come back, kind of thing. Like it does have that like older 80s vibe of Red Skull, like being in a true supervillain kind of vibe that I like. That being said, inexplicable where it all comes from. I don't know. I guess if you're underground for 80 years and you're like stealing children or whatever the fuck he's been doing, like, and just murdering people to make a bone throne. I don't know.
Bone throne.
Bone
so
throne.
They fight, and a couple things. Well, one is he just brutalizes them. Like he breaks Matt's leg. He slams US
Black Widow with a symbiote. He just smashes her leg, and she's like, "I'm out." And then he fucking crushes US Agent's throat in with his own shield. Then he uses the same shield to smash Valerie in half. And you're like, oh shit, this is fucking.
But she's a cyborg, so it's fine.
It doesn't matter.
Another pacing comment I wanted to make. The Doom minus countdown is not even. Some page has 3 minuses. Others, it's like 5 pages between a single minus. I would have liked a more even.
What are you talking about? You see Doom, next page, Doom -6. Next page, Doom -5. Next page, Doom -4. Next page, Doom -3. Next page, Doom -2. Next page, Doom -1. What are you talking about?
Doom -5 and 4 are the same 2-page.
That's a double page spread, Al. Next page, Doom -0. It's literally 5.
Look,
5,
Doom
4, 3, 2, 1.
-8. Doom -8. 1 page. 1 page.
Yes.
2 pages. 3 page, and then Doom -6.
Wait, all right, wait. Go back. I demand you go back.
There's no
Show me
Doom
Doom
-7 on this one.
There's no Doom.
Oh, sorry, they didn't say 7. Oh no.
There's no Doom -7. How am I supposed to?
Because it's a full page spread. Do you want to really interrupt it with Doom -7, and then the next page is Doom -6? You go to 8 from 6, and there's a page in between.
Joe, it's lazy.
It's not
I think
lazy. Every single page is a single
lazy.
number, and the
It's
one page that's not
lazy.
numbered is a full page spread. You're
Doesn't have a
insane.
number. It's lazy.
No, they skipped over 9 as well. It goes Doom -10, Doom -8, and then it goes Doom -8, Doom -6, and then after that it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's lazy. It's lazy. But so Bucky and Doom
This is
have
great,
kind of
love it.
like,
You're insane.
all right, so Bucky and Doom have back and forth as they fight, and Doom sort of wins and has Bucky against the ropes, and then
You
Bucky
mean Red
says,
Skull? Red Skull wins.
Red Skull. Red Skull.
I really, who gives a shit? It's Red Skull. Red Skull has Bucky.
Give a shit.
on
First
the
of all,
ropes.
I love that they're fighting Red Skull and he's devastating, but the whole time they're counting down to Doom. Like nothing matters except for Doom's coming. Like that's going on right now. That I loved. There's a part of this again. There's parts of these books that I'm like, hate this. There's parts of these books that I'm like, this is good. This is one of the parts that are good. Like fighting Red Skull, and it's so dramatic, and like he's devastating the team. And the whole time they're just counting down to Doom. Like, none of that shit mattered. I loved that. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, and
Lightning
so
bolt.
Red Skull has Bucky on the ropes, and Bucky says, you've treated me like an assassin, and this is my revenge, and blah, blah, blah. And then he does the reveal of, like, did you really think I was going to box you to death? And then in the frame, you see light on top, and then Doom -0. And it's Doom who Thor lightning strikes Red Skull dead.
Yeah, Deutschmarks, you blank. That being said, like the whole Deutschmarks conversation, I was like, this seems forced. I don't like it. Again,
the story
a lot of the
was pretty
writing
bad too. It's not a good story. It was a story. So the whole Bucky gave the story about when he and Dun Dugan and
World War
Steve
II story. Yeah.
We're in World War II, and they had to pay for beers with Deutschmarks. And anyway, he then ties it into Latveria and Skull. But it's really not an interesting story. I didn't think it was that good a story.
It's not an interesting story, but also he uses it as his big, like, you think this A stands for France moment. And it just kind of falls flat because I'm just like, that was a bad story. But also your big, like, fuck you moment also kind of fell flat.
Also, because the expression he says is no dollars, Deutschmarks, and then at the end he just says Deutschmarks.
Deutschmarks, you bitch.
Okay.
Or you fuck. Who knows? Because it's blacked out. It's redacted.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's saying.
And then they get away because they use the dimensional fold tech to kind of get.
I did kind of love that.
Doom...
I did kind of like that. That was a good.
Oh no, that's a cool twist because
that was a fun callback. Yeah.
So Doom couldn't get to them. They're safe.
Because honestly, the whole time they're going down there, I'm like, "What's your fucking plan? This is stupid." And then like, they're like, "Oh, we just dove into this pocket dimension," and I'm like, "Okay, right, I kind of like that." And even Doom was like, "You won this time, Bucky Barnes," kind of thing. I'm like, all right, kind of like that.
I did. So one thing
oh,
I liked when Doom is kind of threatening Bucky of like, I'm gonna get you for this, and Bucky just is like, "No, you won't. You're one of us. You're a Thunderbolt." And Doom just kind of goes, "Oh." Like I thought that was kind of a fun.
I am? Okay.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I'm in the club. Okay."
James Barnes, the mistake you have made today will have consequences you have yet to imagine.
So Doom has lightning power. He just has all powers. His lightning powers.
Doom is like a scientist mixed with magic, man. Like it's been that way for a jillion years. I don't know how to reconcile this in your brain. What do you think Doom is? I don't know. I'm asking you.
This is the thing I don't understand. The Red Skull is an interdimensional, all-powerful being, and Doom is this much stronger than the Red Skull. Is that that's correct?
Yes. Doom is like Thanos, probably bigger threat than Thanos. I don't know. Like, Doom is like.
So why is he ruling
Doom is magic mixed with
Eastern European
science?
Country?
So
why
here's the thing. That's the point. Why does Doom continue to exist in the Marvel Universe? Because he's that powerful. He can hold his own nation.
Why doesn't he rule?
And they won't go there because he will.
He's an isolationist. He's like,
Doom's
a complicated character, man.
Yeah,
he's the godfather to Reed and Sue's daughter, and they like hang out all the time.
Okay.
While he's simultaneously trying to kill they're her parents.
So he doesn't
Also,
want...
weirdly on the Illuminati. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry.
So
Don't
why
think
is
about
he
it.
evil? If he doesn't want world domination,
He's
why
not
does
necessarily
he ever fight
evil. He
anybody?
is evil.
Why is he evil if he doesn't want
necessarily-
world domination?
He doesn't want world domination.
What does he want?
Just
Why
hates
is he evil?
Reed.
He just personally doesn't like Reed. I mean, nobody likes Reed. Is everybody a supervillain?
I think.
But I
How
also
is
think
Doom
he
evil?
understands that Reed has their yin and yang type thing going on. I don't know. Like the problems that Reed can't solve, Doom will solve, and the problems that Doom can't solve, Reed can solve. So like,
let me rephrase this.
That's-
If he's interested,
Patrick, that's actually a brilliant way of phrasing that.
I'm very brilliant.
First of all,
okay, let me rephrase the question. If he's only interested in ruling Latveria, why does he create a battle planet and abscond Earth's heroes to fight on this battle planet?
He saved everyone, didn't he? I think it was Are you talking about the Secret Wars Battle World thing? He kept everything together.
Yeah, he kept everyone together. Yeah,
the incursion.
So he didn't create the battle planet.
I mean, he did, but as a way to
created it to save everybody,
save everyone.
How did creating a battle planet save everybody?
Because it would have been obliterated.
Because of comics, Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Because of comics.
Because
of comics. Because of comics. Now
he did make himself king of that world, and there was no Reed Richards. So,
yeah.
But
he did. That's the parts where he's evil.
He's kind of like an egomaniac.
He just tips
like
like
a Lex Luthor type, kind of, but
kind of
not a straight comparison, but
not a straight comparison. Again, me and Patrick are simpatico on this. You know,
I think you just haven't. I also think that the whole was it Valeria Richards? Is that the name of your daughter? I think his relationship. I think his relationship with her
is problematic.
No. I think he wants to protect her at all costs. Like, I think if there's anything that threatens her, he is going to stop it.
If anything threatens Valeria, he's going to create another battle planet and move people to that planet in order to protect her.
Where he'll also coincidentally
be king. He will also be emperor of that battle planet. But it is all to protect. But it's all to protect Valeria Richards. So you all watch out.
In his own way, yeah.
Don't make him create another battle planet, because he will.
Don't do it.
So they get away from Doom, and then there's
has a new Nazi robot body, and U.S. agent has his trachea patched up.
Pat, you want to talk about Red Guardian? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, oh shit! Zoom in on a Red Guardian bot.
I think that's proving my point right there. U.S. agent's right there next to him.
So for those of you who aren't
and U.S.
on
agent
YouTube,
is like, I can't go shirtless in front of this guy.
I know
he's gonna put me to shame.
I don't even have a beard.
I can't.
For those of you who are listening, there's a scene where they arm wrestle, and Red Guardian has a. I mean, he looks great. He looks good.
That being said, White Widow and Sharon are at that same table. I still don't recognize them as two separate characters.
No, because now White Widow has her hair like Florence Pugh has it in the movies. So
I hate the T-1000 luminescent weird shiny arm that Bucky has. Can't stand it. Get it out of here.
Look at who they're going after next. Apocalypse? Fucking
the Hulk?
Is that what they said?
The Hulk?
The Hulk is
on the table.
Yeah,
I was like, what are you talking about?
Ultron,
no, I think that's just like, here's crazy random threats that we might face. One of which is Baron Zemo, also the founder of the Thunderbolts. I mean, Ultron, everyone's there. Ultron's there.
What is this team going to do against Apocalypse or Ultron? They're not going to be able to stop them.
It doesn't matter, because Doomstrike, I guarantee, doesn't go after any of those people.
Venom is on there too.
But which one? Because there's a million of them now.
Who's the upside down Wolverine?
It's very red.
Who's the upside down Wolverine? Is that?
I feel like that.
that must be Carnage. You're right. That must be Carnage. That must be Carnage.
You say that, but I don't know. That drawing's small enough and loose enough to be like, I don't know. Who knows?
Is that the Fenris twins? Who are those twins on top of Ultron?
I would assume so, since they're Nazis.
Norman Osborn is on there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
the red?
Is that Vision?
It's not Vision. With the red
face
guy, and the white.
The red guy with white hair is head of Orcus from.
Okay, and then there's the Hood Ninja under Shang-Chi's hand.
Yeah.
What are we? What's
and Fisk? Fisk is on there.
Who's above the Venom Carnage picture?
Zemo.
No.
Oh, you mean Doc Ock? Is that Doc
No,
Ock?
the other side.
Blockbuster?
The other corner.
Or not
Is
Blockbuster?
that yeah, Tombstone.
Blockbuster's DC, isn't
Tombstone. Maybe it's Tombstone.
Is it Tombstone? That's random.
This is so
Anyway.
they have Ultron and Tombstone on the same list. Like that's okay.
Doesn't matter because they're going after Doom after this, right? Doomstrike, I would imagine, goes after Doom.
I would assume it's Doom.
I would assume
a name like Doomstrike.
All right,
it was probably originally named Kangstrike until Jonathan.
It was originally named Kangstrike, and then they quickly changed to Dr.
And they had to change. Yeah.
Let's talk about this last issue. Different artists.
Can we not talk about it at all? I'm fine.
I literally have one thing to say.
I want to talk about it briefly, but go ahead. Yeah.
It's about the issue's about Bucky breaking into Kingpin's place because he's got dossiers on everyone.
Yes.
You think he's going to get his. You think he's because Bucky can't remember anything like Wolverine, I guess. And you think he's going to get the Winter Soldier file, but at the end it's revealed that he gets his Bucky Barnes file because, like we talked about in Winter Soldier, he was like a trained assassin as a kid, and I liked the beat how they said he killed like 300 something people, and like he only killed 79 of those people as the Winter Soldier, so his little child self actually murdered way more people.
Yeah,
because he keeps saying he wants to know who he was. And
I loved that.
I loved
that twist of that book, this issue. That was super fun because like Winter Soldier is on one of the files, you know, like as a topic, like as he's flipping through.
Yeah,
Winter Soldier is on one of those files, and then at the end it's revealed, like Patrick said, that he didn't keep the Winter Soldier one; he kept the James Buchanan Barnes one. And I love that. I was like, oh, that's an interesting wrinkle to this entire thing. Again, this should have been a prelude issue rather than the end of this run. But
also, I didn't get the Kingpin side of it. How he was sleepwalking.
So there was a weird. There was a period of time where Kingpin was blind. I think. I don't know if this.
No,
he was.
He was just sleepwalking.
No, so
yeah,
Devil's
there's
Reign,
weird like energy in his eyes. I don't know what's going on.
Devil's Reign, Daredevil does something with magic to make everyone forget his secret identity, and then Fisk gets a magic stone that allows him to compel people, but it starts fucking with his head. So I think he's like in a trance when he's fighting Bucky. Like I don't think he's actually asleep. I think he's just...
Okay.
So
well, he's in some sort of
this
state that isn't.
Yes. So yeah, Kingpin's not. He's like sleepwalking and fighting Bucky. Essentially. But the twist to that is that Bucky is also like been hunting for X amount of time and exhausted and can't sleep. So he's also in this weird state of mind. And that alone is why I like this issue, because there's just some cool visual aspects to that. Like a lot of the fight is going back and forth between reality and like what's going on in Bucky's own mind. And like, I don't know, really liked that aspect of it. Artistically, it was a great issue. Ultimately, all they do is just go, "Yeah, I got my file," kind of thing.
I got my file.
But it was, I got it, kind of. But it was cool. I really liked. I mean, like, I don't know. There was a heartbeat where I didn't realize that the snow coming down was bullets, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Like just like little artistic notes that I really liked. The last fucking page, I guess, or almost the last page. But just him reading the file in the alleyway, and it's like it goes from him sitting in a regular alleyway, like looking at a file, to like blood everywhere, and the bullets are raining down again, and like the red stars behind him in the background, and like the bodies have like elongated shadows coming from them and stuff. Like just the darkness of that, I just love that to death. Like I was just like, oh fuck, that's really fucking cool.
Well, I did.
There's a lot of good shit in this that I was just like, yeah, you could throw it away and be like, that's a whatever issue. But like, really, there's little nuanced bits that I really loved about this.
No, the art was great. I liked all the camera angles for the panels. The color work was really well done. Like this last kind of large spread here with the red alley.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
I mean, it's all done really well.
Like the bullet holes in the star, and there's streaks going down, and there's bodies in the alleyway, and it's just him like reading a file and remembering shit, for the first time for a while. Really thought it was cool. But to Patrick's point, the best part is that it's not Winter Soldier's file. It's James Buchanan Barnes' file, which I thought was really fucking really
Did
cool.
you know?
Really cool twist. Really cool, interesting bit.
Did you know that his nickname Bucky comes from Buchanan? It's a short form of Buchanan.
I didn't. I thought it came from
I thought it came from James.
Bucky O'Hare.
Yep. No, it's the Buchanan. All right.
Anyway,
recommendations.
What's the Al? Do you hear that?
The Bechdel test.
The Bechdel test. The Bechdel test. Does this pass the Bechdel test?
The answer is probably
This one
Al's too
doesn't.
tired to continue. No, not at all.
Doesn't even really come. Even though there's 3 women on the team, it really doesn't come close.
4. There's 4
not even
women on the
remotely.
team.
Yeah.
Well,
2 of those
I guess it doesn't
blondes,
count.
Patrick.
Well, one of them's a
might as well be the same
cyborg.
person.
I mean, one of them's a cyborg. Is that a woman or is that a robot?
I don't know. I mean,
The only time
it's
they
a
really-
cyborg that identifies as a woman. Al, how dare you?
I don't. I'm pretty sure gender is defined at birth. So if you're a robot, you ain't got
Oh
one.
shit! Well, you heard it here first, everybody.
So,
You are just a robot.
but either way, they don't talk to each other. There's no.
Yeah,
there's
not
no
remotely.
Bechdel
It doesn't
test.
pass at all.
They pass.
Just,
So hive mind. Let's do better next time. Let's have some women chat. Okay.
On a team with basically 4 guys and 4 girls, you'd think.
Also, White Widow
You'd
and
think
Nat.
they'd chat a little bit.
Well, but also White Widow and Nat would have a lot to talk. Why not have them?
You
talk?
would think
Right?
they would.
Have them
but-
talk about something.
I mean, I don't know if it
I
counts.
don't know
'cause
how
they're
well they know
technically-
each other in the comics. Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like,
I don't
know what their
either. And
relationship
I would have.
is.
I would have liked to know more.
They weren't
not- if you-
adopted orphans.
Hey,
that
it's
took a ballet
almost
and
like
spy school.
there should have been 2 more issues of this comic book and made it a 6-issue run.
I
And
disagree.
you could have
I
had
don't
more
think.
character growth.
I'm glad we didn't have any more issues of this comic. I disagree. I think 4 was
Well, that's
right
because you didn't
amount.
like it. But if there's 2 more issues and it's been spread out, and you could have learned who they were as human beings and had a little more scenes with character development, maybe it would have been a better book.
No, I don't think they
Or-
cared about doing that. I don't think that was in the.
Oh, they
cards.
definitely
think-
didn't care about doing that, but they should have.
All right.
4
I
issues
think
and 1 issue was spent on American Kaiju.
American Kaiju.
Anyway, I don't recommend.
You gotta recruit U.S. Agent, Patrick.
You got to get U.S. Agent because he's in the movie. So you got to get.
Okay, yeah. Recommendations. Patrick already said don't.
Nope.
Do you want to expand?
I mean, it just no. We talked about it. It's MCU synergy, baby. I think the movie might be a lot better. I would hope the movie's a lot better.
Yeah. That being said, the movie's out right now. None of us have watched it. None of us have seen it.
Nope.
Al, what do you think?
I don't recommend it, and I don't have anything to add that I haven't already said.
Well, shit. That was fast. Okay, let me get into it. I have so much to say. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, moving on. Yes, I mean,
look, it's certainly not the worst comic we've read.
It's not.
for
It's not.
this.
It's not.
But it's just nothing about it. It's honestly a comic I won't remember or talk about in 2 years. It's just there's just
It's
nothing.
not that there are redeemable pieces of it, but that's the problem. It's just pieces. Like, it doesn't. The pieces that I like don't tie together to make a full thing that I would be like, I'm on the fence on this. Just no. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Not good.
mean, if you want to read something from comic books that ties into the MCU movie, I guess, sure, go for that. But like, as a comic book, I would never be like, hey, read this. It's good shit. It's a crazy shit show from start to finish.
It's
Yeah.
lunacy.
But I think I will say this in its defense. Not the artist's fault. I liked the art the whole time through. And now on the issue at the end, the art was like even better, I would say. Or at least he had the opportunity to take artistic license with
Well, let's look back.
aspects
I
of
mean,
the
I don't think it was Borges who did that Devil's Reign issue.
No, yeah, that was a separate I don't know who did that.
Who was my
Devil's
edition
Reign was
doesn't-
drawn by Nico Leon.
Okay, got it. Yep.
So again, that last issue with the Devil's Reign Winter Soldier issue, I really liked the art. I thought it was better in terms of just artistic, like what's going on in Winter Soldier's brain, and he's like half lucid, half not, kind of thing. That was interesting, like what was going on with that. But and also Kingpin at the same time. But like as a grand scheme of things, this trade paperback goes, nah.
Okay. Well, so that was we did
Thumbs
Thunderbolts
down on all three, which is rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was Thunderbolts.
It's
Worldstrike.
rare. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was it. We talked about Thunderbolts.
That'll wake
Strikes
you
like
up.
lightning. You're supposed to say strikes like lightning.
Justice like lightning.
Justice like lightning.
Justice like lightning.
All right, I
Okay,
think we've won
we'll see
comics for
everybody
the,
next
for the
time.
week, boys. I think we won. We won.
Good journey. Good journey, Couchers.
Goodbye.